use this same slideshow to create my test. This is just, this time you're looking for protein. You're looking for protein. Let those come back and we'll check off of it. When we get done, y'all can take that little test. Where'd the other one go?
Dollar General. She had to run Dollar General real quick, I guess, to pick some vinegar of it.
Okay. That wasn't necessary. It ain't great. All right. This has an abbreviation that I didn't know about, but I saw it over and over again. B-i-r is the abbreviation that apparently is accepted for Biuret solution. I don't think you say BUR, it's just B-I-R. I reckon that big R is the ret part, but it's pronounced Biuret. Biuret solution. Some say reagent. I mean, when you order on, half time they'll say Biuret reagent, and half time they say Biuret solution. Problem is though, I got gloves this time, buddy. That's got sodium hydroxide. That'll tear you up just in your hands. So Benedict was rich, but this stuff here, you better be particular. So I got gloves this time. So this time I'm sure be the one doing the pouring. So I don't want y'all to get hurt. It's got copper in it, and copper is what actually reacts with the protein. And I'll tell you more about it. The hydroxide creates a basic, it's got to be an alkaline environment for it to work. So the hydroxide gives you an alkaline environment, and then the copper is what's going to find the protein if it's there and change colors. All right? Now I just told you this, and you can copy some of it. Now let me tell you what this is telling you. I already did, but that Biuret solution is the same color as Benedict. But unlike Benedict, don't put that stuff on your fingers or your skin, because some hydroxide is corrosive. If you do get it on you, you go to that water fountain there and you run water over it for 15, 20 minutes. And then you go to the doctor. It's that bad. That's why I don't want y'all to touch this stuff. I'm not afraid of it. I got good healthy respect. And the copper ion in the copper sulfate solution, that's what's going to make the color happen if it finds. Now here's the point though. It's not really finding protein, it's finding the bonds between the amino acids. Now if you got amino acids put together, guess what you have? A protein. So what it's looking for are those bonds between the different acids. When you pull the water out and the glue together, well, that's called a peptide bond. And the copper will find them if it's in a alkaline solution. So when you buy the Biuret solution, it's ready to go. It's already got copper in, and that's why I got gloves I'm wearing this time. And it's going to be, deep violet is the strongest reaction. They got shades of violet. But you're not going to see green, you're not going to see yellow. You're going to see shades of the same color, from light to dark. And I got some examples to show you up here. Are you up to copy? Mm-hmm. Let me know when you're ready. I came by this morning and played around a little bit. I cleaned up all the test tubes. And I'll give you a write on the test tube again. I think y'all said probably better to write an actual substance on it as opposed to BT1. Oh, by the way, BT1 meant Bobby Teflon. Y'all know that? Yeah. It didn't mean Benedict Teflon. I had 4 or 5 folks who said BT1. And you're not Bobby Tef. I didn't think you would think it means Benedict's test. I want you to be your initials and the number. So I'm going, I didn't do all these BTs. So I still think it might be better to do BT1 and then write on paper what it stands for. It's hard to write all around test tube. I think we'll still do that this time. Use HH, but you probably did anyway. But don't, only one that says BT1 is me, and I'm by the cat. It don't mean Biuret's test now. So we're still going to say on the test tube, I would hope, I want you to say like, I'm going to say BT1. I'm going to write down on the paper what that is, because you can't write sometimes on that little test tube what the sucker is. But I can't say BT1 on my paper. I can write what I want. And then I'll take alcohol like I did before and Panama. The darker the purple, the more the protein. That's the basic rule. The darker the purple, the more the protein. Because the more peptide bonds you have, the bigger the protein is, and the more peptide bonds it finds, the darker the color is going to be. And I'm going to show you in the next slide an example of this. Notice the word sulfate. You can spell it with a PH or an F. Neither one's misspelled. The PowerPoint, I was using sulfate. But I could say S-U-L-F-A-T just as well. That's not misspelled, and neither is F. It's just we do it both ways. I'm not sure what's the original spelling either, whether it's F or PH. I just don't know. Might be my next thing I look after. Go and dig up. But the main thing is, the more peptide bonds you find, the darker purple it's going to be, and that means it's full of a lot more protein than one that's a light lavender color. And you're going to find, and what's nice is that the negative reading is still blue, like it was in the Biuret, like on Benedict's test. So blue is still blue on this one. Kind of click it, you still copy.
No.
Let me know when you're ready. Take longer to do this than the actual test, I do believe. Once we start rolling. I brought in a raw egg that's separated. I hope it ain't busted. It's in 2 sandwich baggies. And I got it in a Tupperware thing so I can't crush it. So if you brought an egg in, I hope you didn't make a mess in your book bag. All right.
Yeah.
I'm doing the PowerPoint on how to do this thing that you're about to do. And like Jared, you can take the test sheet this one back. You get that back. And someone will help you with the PowerPoint. All right. This is going to be what you're going to see now. That is probably a lighter blue. The more I put in, the more blue it's going to be, right? So if I put in 3 drops, it's going to be a light blue. If I put in 10 drops, it's going to be a dark blue. And I got some other, but the main thing, look at that positive result. You can't miss that. You can't miss that lavender purple, what do you want to call it. And that's not, it can get so red it's black almost. It can get stronger than that. But that is that's a strong result as they go. But you're going to see some in here that's really dark. As a matter of fact, I got my egg white is often the control that you use for the positive test, because egg white is so full of protein. And then water is what you use to show the negative test. But I'm not going to do a positive. I'm going to just test egg white and let you see what it is. All right, here's another picture. This shows the Biuret only. And then you add water to it. And there's some egg white, and then you pour in the Biuret, and that's the color indicates protein.
So on these, you don't have to use the warm water?
No, you don't need warm this time. Because the warm water last time was breaking those bonds. You ain't got to break them, they'll find the bonds not breaking them. I did wonder, did somebody bring boiled egg in?
I did.
I wonder if like the raw white versus the boiled white, it's going to be the same. I didn't know about that, so I'm glad you brought it so we can see. Because I know the raw white like this was tested. But see, when you boil an egg, you denature the proteins and then it turns white like the boiled egg white. You denature them, but I don't think you destroy them. So I'm just wondering when we test his egg white boiled, will you get the same pretty color as my raw does? Because if it does, I'll stop bringing raw egg and chance taking making a mess in my book bag or something. But I got my stuff in Tupperware and it's solid. I ain't gonna crush it in my book bag. All right. These are some tests, and you can see the range of color. This one is the control. This is a negative. And of course, that is real strong, and that is real strong. And this is what they are. They're the egg. Number 3 is glucose, and it doesn't test for sugar, so you won't have a result. Starch, no result. Pepsin, now, I don't know what they use pepsin for. The pepsin is this one right here. Pepsin is the hormone. I'm sorry, the enzyme that breaks down protein. And what I bet is going to happen is the part of the pepsin that plugs into the bond of the protein, and they got to match that bond, doesn't it? And it's probably finding that matching, but it's nowhere near this color because potato has a lot of sodium protein in it. And then number 7 is milk. Milk is probably one of your most complete meals. It's got everything in it. But it don't have a lot of protein there. Now, the one back here, kind of green, cornflakes. Now, if you look on the side of cornflakes, it might say 2% protein. The question is, is that enough to find? Apparently not. But there's a result because it ain't that color. So there's a result. And I would call it low grade probably because I'm looking for something like this. This is bread. Bread contains protein, you knew it, right? So that shows you. And this one here is the unknown. And the question is, what in the world would have so much protein that turned that dark?
Meat?
And meat product. That meat product would be that dark. I don't know what to think. I did the website, I got it from, didn't tell me what the unknown was. But I know clearly that this is the heaviest reaction between any of them, even stronger than gelatin. Has a lot of protein because when a gelatin, you know, when you make Jello and it turns to Jello, it's like when you boil an egg, right? The raw egg runs doesn't, but when you boil the egg, you can't make the white one run. And what happens? The boiling water takes those proteins and changes their shape so that they're no longer a fluid. So when you boil the egg, when you get done, the egg white, you can't pour it because it's solid now. And what I read about the Jello, the same thing happens, but it happens. A lot of folks pour Jello into warm water, stirring it up. Then what do you do with it then?
Cool it.
Into the fridge. Now I wonder if it was set up on the counter side. Because does it ever melt? Does it melt? Can you melt Jello?
Yes.
I don't know.
I've left it in the sun before it turned back to liquid.
But I've gone into restaurants where it's not refrigerated and it's a solid chunk square.
It takes a
I
while.
don't see anything. I'll put it in my mouth and like play with it.
It takes
That
a
way.
while.
But that's my enzyme working though. So I'm thinking that last one is probably some kind of gelatin. Because gelatin is heavy in protein. That's the
Well, number 8 there, does that have a purple tint?
8